Welcome back, or welcome if you didn't watch the first video, which you should do because it's amazing. So this was lesson 1, which was lighting up geometric shapes, trying out different types of light sources, working out the highlights, which we'll put in H, midtones in M, and shadows in S. So once we've learned this, we can then go on to something a little bit more complex, which is going to be a human face. Very similar to the last time, but this is obviously a lot more of a complex shape, but it still follows the same procedure. So what I'm going to do is get my layers up. Right, I've made a couple of copies of this, so we'll just scratch and draw on this for a second. This should be a lot quicker, this episode. What am I like? So if we remember, we've got a light source, and in this picture I'm going to have my light source sort of in front of his eye here. So it's going to be shining from this sort of his right hand side. So remember that anything that's directly facing this light source is going to get all of the light, and anything that's as far away from this light source is going to get very little of the light. So what we'll do is we'll put on this next layer, and we'll use the same technique as we did last time. I've got a paint bucket, I've got the opacity to 20%, I've pressed D to select default colours. So default is obviously black, and if you click X it will swap them around. So let's just dive in and get it done. Tolerance, let's put the tolerance down to 10, I think. It should be fine. I redrew all this last night. All I did is got an image off the internet, faded it out a little bit, and used the line tool to sort of trace the main areas. Let's start off with the dark, because we actually started with the light last time, and I'll show you can do it both ways. So the light's coming in from the left. All of this area on the nose is going to start falling into shadow. So we'll just sort of block in fact we'll do the nostrils and the eyes as well. We're just going to block in where we know the shadows are going to be. So this is obviously not facing the light, so it's going to be away, and we're just looking for any surface which is starting to fall away from this light source. So if we look here, that probably would be blocked a little bit, as is this. All this is facing it. This is starting to turn away a little bit because the light's coming from above, so we'll just block these in quickly. The lip area, really easy, because it's got a ramp going up this way which is facing the light, and a ramp going down that way which is facing away. So let's block those in. On this side, this is facing away as well. That bit of the nostril is. So already it's looking okay. We've got a bit to do though. The lips, usually when you're drawing lips, the top one is usually in shadow, and the bottom one catches the light because the light is usually coming from on top. Underneath the chin, this is starting to face away from the light. This bit's bending back outwards, so it's like the roof of a house almost. That's going to be catching the light. Right, so we have got these sort of main areas of shadow. This looks a bit dodgy. I'm going to reduce my opacity to 10% by pressing 1 and just fade this out a wee bit. Oh look, this is going downwards, so we need to darken that. Oh no, nope. Put a bit there as well, because he's got some worrying lines and stuff in his face. Up here as well. Again, it's all, just work out the angle. It's all facing away. That last one isn't. So let's put some light in now, and it should start coming to life a little bit. Always start with the most obvious areas. So this nose, let's really brighten that up a bit. So this lot around here is going to get a ton of light. Doesn't look like a ton of light though, does it? Right. Yep, that bit's lit up. Let's look at this cheekbone. this will all start ramping up. So I'm just flicking between 10 and 20% on the opacity. So if I want more control, I'll just put it down to 10%. So each time I click it, it doesn't change it as much. So that's fine. This area we said is going to be facing the light this way. So this obviously needs lighting up. If the part of the face faces left, it's going to get light. If it faces right, it's going to be dark. And it sounds ridiculously simple, but that's all you need to do. And when I'm drawing anything and putting tone to it, I'm still doing this in my head really. And it takes a little while sometimes. But it's well worth it's well worth putting the time in, just to sort of, so you're not doing stuff without thinking. You're always, considering. This lower lip's going to catch more light. I'm going to go back in with the darks again. I'm just going to up it to about 30% and really get some of this shadow area in. Oh, the nose. The nose. Right, this is all facing away from the light. No, maybe not that bit. That bit is just catching it the tiniest bit. But we're going to go a lot darker. Give it some impact. And this area. And this especially, because it's really facing away. See, it's not taking that long. You see, what you could do after this, you could somehow try and remove the lines and just show it as pure tone, and it would look pretty realistic. And obviously these, this is separating the face out into blocks, and all you need to do to smooth these transitions is just blend the areas. Like on an area like this with the nose, it's going to be quite a sharp angle. It changes direction very quickly, and the tone then shows the form changing so quickly. If it's something like this where it's sort of undulating, you'd obviously get a much smaller change in tone from area to area. But one last thing is, remember these cast shadows. It will happen on a face as well. So these are form shadows here, because it's showing you the form of whatever the object is. But I'm going to put a new layer on. If we get our spray paint can or icing sugar thing again, and imagine that the light's coming in, blip, 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 hitting there, isn't it? And it will probably carry on and finish about there, wouldn't it? Right? So no light. The light's going to sort of strike there slightly, but this area in here, all this bit is going to be in shadow. So let's put that on. So this nose is going to be casting a shadow going down here, and the light's coming from the sort of top left, isn't it? So it's probably going to cast some shadows on there. Put some shadows underneath there. Let's darken that up a bit. I don't want to make it look like he's got a moustache or anything. And this will probably cast a bit of a shadow onto there. And would this cast something? It probably would. See, now that nose really looks three-dimensional now. But I'm just following the same procedure. I've got to back that up a bit because I don't like that little bit. Right, so easy peasy. Once you click, that is it. Right, stop, Christopher, stop. Go on, one more. Then I'll let you go. Right, so I spent a little bit more time on this. There's a few issues with this model. These cheek and the smile lines aren't particularly accurate, so we're ending up with quite a flattened area here. And what I've also done is introduced a little bit more light coming on this side, because obviously the light will probably get there, and it just helps to bring it out of the darkness a little bit. So you should all have this file to work from. What I'd do is suggest that you actually try and light it a different way. So perhaps light it from this side. So this part of the face is going to be catching the light. And there, and this is all going to start going into shadow. Okay, and another way you can do it, hopefully we can skip back enough, light it from the top, so the forehead gets a load of light, top of the nose does, bottom half of this bit underneath the lips do, bottom section of the lips, top of the chin, and then everything obviously facing away goes into darkness. This is quite dramatic, and these eyes just turn into pits of darkness, sort of like my soul. You could even, if you wanted to, try lighting it from underneath, where this is going to be all reversed, and they do use that a lot in horror films to give a sort of creepy otherworld feeling to it. But yeah, give this a go on the file, upload it, and we'll have a look and see how well you did. Beautiful. See you soon.